Hey y'all, I want to talk to you about this book I just read, The Government Lake by James Tate. It's a poetry book. I want to talk about it because the poems were so unexpected and so sweet in many ways. There's so many relationships in these poems that have love in them and take unexpected turns. But really it's the love in these relationships that stuck out to me when I was reading the book. And also the real, matter of fact realism of the poems that's also completely riddled with the unexpected and the magical. There's a really, really excellent blurb on the back by Matthew Zapruder. He's another poet that I definitely recommend and love. But I liked his words a lot. I'm going to just read a few of them. His poems veer and swerve and enchant and crack you up and then productively sadden you. My personal theory is that in his late narrative poetry, he was stripping away any of the accepted signifiers of free verse poetry in order to see what remains when all the things that usually tell us we are reading poetry are gone. The strength of his work, that ability to make the normal strange, funny, dangerous, full of meaning, alive. His poems give us the sense that something interesting and important is always waiting around the corner. I love that. The first one I want to read is called Everything But Thomas. I walked out of the bank just as I realized it was being held up. I didn't know what to do, run or hide in the bushes. So, without thinking, I turned around and walked back into the bank. The thief saw me and said, "Get down on the ground!" I followed his instructions and got down on the floor. Then he pointed to me and said, "You, get up. You're going with me." I got up and followed him. We got in his car and sped away. We sped past other cars at first, through stoplights, until we finally came to a parking lot. We got out of the car and quickly got into another. It was a black Chevy. Then we took off at a normal speed and drove that way from then on, stopping at stoplights and obeying all the rules. We drove out past the city limits and into the countryside. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it was a pretty ride, beautiful trees and quaint little cottages. We drove for about an hour, then pulled off on a little lane and followed that for another 20 minutes. Then we stopped by a small cottage and got out. We walked in and turned on the lights. He said, "Sit down." I did, and he got out a rope and tied me up. Then I watched him go about his business. He took his gun out of his shoulder holster. He made some coffee. He lowered the blinds. He was nervous, but he also felt good about how things went. I also felt strangely secure, though I was a captive and tied up. He looked at me and said, "What are you thinking?" I said, "I feel pretty good considering." "You should. Everything's gone as planned so far," he said. "They don't know who I am, and we got away pretty neatly as far as I can tell." "Good. We'll just hunker down here, and no one will find us," I said. He went to the stove and started cooking up some hot dogs. He loosened my rope so I could eat with him. "This is a nice place," I said. "Yeah, it was my grandfather's," he said. After lunch, he tied me back up. Then he said, "I'm going to take a nap, all right?" I said, "Sure." And he slept for a couple of hours. After several weeks together, he decided to untie me. I helped around the house, chopping wood, sweeping the floors, occasionally cooking something. We were a good couple together. I grew very fond of him, and I know he liked me. This was our home, and neither one of us ever wanted to go back. There was a little grocery store about 5 miles away, and that was all we needed. We hunted deer, and one was all we needed to make it through the winter. Then one day Thomas got sick. He wouldn't let me call a doctor, and a week later he died. To my surprise, he left me everything: the money from the bank robbery and the cabin. I stayed on there for the rest of my life, never marrying, never having children. I had everything I wanted, everything I needed, everything but Thomas. The next poem is called Elvis Has Left the House. The raccoon got up on the roof and wouldn't come down. I threw rocks at it and it danced between them. Finally, I decided to get my shotgun. I got a ladder from the garage and climbed up on it. Then I took aim and fired. It danced like crazy, but I missed and tore a hole in the roof. Denny, the little boy from next door, came running out of his house yelling, "Don't shoot! That's my pet raccoon!" I turned on the ladder and stared at him in disbelief. "All right, you can have him if you can catch him," I said. He stood at the foot of the ladder and said, "Come here, Billy." And to my amazement, the raccoon came down and nestled in his arms, and they walked away towards Denny's home. I put the ladder away and walked into my house with my shotgun. I went into my study and started to work for a while. I finished a report for work in about 3 hours, then decided to take a nap. I went into the living room and laid down on the couch. I slept for about an hour, and when I woke up, the raccoon was in my lap. I started to scream, but then I thought better of it and just started to pet its head, which it seemed to like. So we lay there like that for another half hour until there was a knock on the door. I picked the raccoon up and walked to the door. It was Denny, the boy from next door. "Can I have my raccoon back?" he said. "I don't know how he got in here, really I don't, but sure, here's your raccoon," I said. "By the way, what's his name?" "Elvis," he said, grabbing his pet. A few days later I had worked hard in the yard all day and was tired. I went to bed early, and when I woke up, Elvis was in my arms. It felt natural and good, and I kissed him, which he seemed to like. I got up and fixed him breakfast, which was cereal and milk. He liked that. Then I went about my day, and Elvis followed me around. He stayed that night, and the next night. In fact, he seemed to be a permanent tenant by now. We had our routines and our meals. We slept together. One day, when I was raking leaves in the fall, I saw Bob and Susan in their yard. They were Dennis's parents. After we exchanged greetings and talked for a little bit, I said, "How's Denny?" "We thought you knew. Denny died last summer. It was polio," Bob said. "Oh, I'm so sorry. He'll be greatly missed, I know," I said. Then I finished raking and went back in the house. I did some paperwork, napped for a while, and fixed dinner. Something was different. Elvis wasn't there. I looked everywhere, but there was no Elvis. This next one had one of my favorite moments in all of the poems in the book. The poem's called "The Sky is Falling Like Bunnies." Oliver sat in his chair like milk in a bottle. No, that isn't right. Oliver sat in his chair like a stick in mud. That's not it. Oliver sat in his chair like air in the mouth. That couldn't be right. Oliver sat in his chair like poison in a sandwich. Nope. Oliver sat in his chair like a man on a horse. Not quite. Oliver sat in his chair like a man in a mud hole. Oliver sat in his chair like a pixie on a rosebud. I think that might be it. He bent over and picked up his pencil. Then he started to write. He wrote in a big circle all around the paper, then smaller and smaller until it was just a dot. Then he stared at the dot for a long time until he nearly fell out of the chair. He decided that was a bad idea and stopped. He wadded the paper up and threw it in the wastebasket. Actually, he missed the basket. Oh well, he never was much good at basketball. In high school, he failed to make the team. He looked out the window. It was snowing. In fact, it had been snowing hard for hours. No one was plowing. The streets and his driveway had what appeared to be a foot of snow. Oliver felt paralyzed. He couldn't move. A bunny jumped over his head. Then Beth came into the room. "What are you doing here?" she said. "Just sitting," Oliver said. "What do you mean, just sitting?" she said. "That's what I'm doing, just sitting," he said. "I've never heard of anybody just sitting. You must be doing something else, like watching the stars fall, or the garbage truck coming up the street, or a rattlesnake getting ready to strike. I mean, isn't there anything else in your picture?" she said. "Not really," he said. "Well, maybe you're dead. Did you ever think of that?" she said. "I don't think so," he said. "Can you get out of that chair?" she said. I don't know. I seem to like it here, he said. You don't look like you do. You look like you're miserable, she said. I'm just trying to figure out how that bunny got into the house, he said. What bunny? I don't see any bunny, she said. One jumped over my head a few minutes ago, he said. I don't believe you. You're crazy, she said. No, I'm telling you the truth, he said. Sitting in one place too long causes you to hallucinate. That's a proven fact, she said. Ask the bunny about that, Oliver said. There is no bunny, Beth said. Just as there is no Oliver and no Beth, he said. Now you're getting metaphysical on me, she said. I'd like to, but I'm too tired, he said. Wake up! The sky is falling, she said. That's not the sky. That's just a bunny I once knew, he said. I love that moment of, let's see, I've never heard of anybody just sitting. You must be doing something else, like watching the stars fall, or the garbage truck coming up the street, or a rattlesnake getting ready to strike. I mean, isn't there anything else in your picture? Isn't there anything else in your picture? So good. You still there? You still with me? Thank you. It feels good to be reading these. I hope you're enjoying. This next one's called The Liar. Earl and I were sitting around at my house one night when he said to me, you know that story that's been going around about me shooting a deer through the heart with my bow and arrow? Well, it isn't true. I missed him altogether. I just made that up. Can you believe that? I guess so, I said. And that 4-pound bass I caught up at Lake Wyola was totally fake. I never even caught a fish that day, he said. You don't have to be telling me all this. I still love you, I said. And that 300-point bowling game I said I bowled last Christmas was more like 100. Can you believe that? I lied just to make it more exciting, he said. People do things like that all the time, I said. I know, but I'm a chronic liar, he said. You're just like everybody else. Don't worry about it, I said. But I do. The truth should matter. We should stand for something real, he said. Stop worrying about it. Nobody cares. You make life exciting. That's all that matters, I said. Okay, if you say so, but I'm going to try to be better, he said. I got up and fixed us a drink. Earl leaned back and seemed to be enjoying himself now. You're a great guy. You know that, Jethro. I can relax around you. Be myself, he said. Thank you, Earl. That's what friends should do for one another, I said. Yes, sir, no putting on. No tall tales, just relaxing and being yourself. We sat there in silence for a while, sipping our drinks. Say, have you ever climbed Mount Greylock? He said. No, I haven't, I said. Well, I have. It was a bitch. Nearly killed myself, he said. Why was that? I said. The ledge was so steep, nearly straight down. If you slipped an inch, it was straight down and you'd fall, he said. How did you make it? I said. I didn't. I fell straight down and killed myself, he said. That's a shame, I said. You're telling me, he said. Alright, and to follow up the liar, we have the truth. Mitzi fell asleep as soon as we got home, but I didn't. The evening had upset me. Why did Jack keep asking me if I'd been married before? And why did my answer not satisfy him? It was probably just a bad joke. Jack's humor is off sometimes, but he's not a bad guy. Well, then I went to bed. When we woke up in the morning, Mitzi said, Jack was right about you, wasn't he? What do you mean? I said. Jack said you were kicked out of the army, she said. I was never in the army. How could I be kicked out? I said. I don't think he likes me. Oh, I think Jack likes you a lot. He just wishes you were more interesting, she said. And by making me secretly divorced and secretly kicked out of the army, I'm instantly more interesting? Is that it? I said. According to Jack, you are, she said. I think we had better have breakfast, I said. Good idea, she said. During breakfast, I said, don't you think I'm interesting? Of course I do, honey, she said. Let's forget it. I mean, Jack is an old friend. Maybe he was just drunk, I said. That's probably it, she said. What are you going to do today? I asked. I'm thinking of buying a new dress for the wedding, she said. What wedding? I said. You know, Carol and Bob's wedding next Saturday, she said. Oh God, I forgot all about it, I said. How could you forget? Bob's your best friend, she said. I know, I just had my mind on other things. But now I'll focus on their wedding, I promise, I said. Shortly after that, Mitzi left the house. I cleaned up the breakfast dishes, then sat down on the couch. Why had Jack told the two secrets I had told him years ago? I had sworn him to silence, and now everybody knew. I had told him I would kill him if he ever told anybody. I wasn't going to kill him, but I did think about disappearing, just vanishing altogether. Where would I go? What would I do? And I do love Mitzi. I could tell her the truth. I've had 18 years to do that, and not a squeak so far. Okay, the final poem I'm going to read. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed doing this. This was one of my favorites in the whole book. It's called Too Late. There wasn't much I could do. I sat there looking out the window. A squirrel was digging for what he hoped was a nut. Several flickers were jumping about in the yard. I looked at my watch. It was 11:23 a.m. Nobody did much at that hour. I don't know why I said that, just because I wasn't doing anything. Other people were making bombs, sending love letters, or just doing their jobs, whatever that might be. I was waiting for a sign so that I might proceed with my whatever it is I'm supposed to do. A man walked down the street looking suspicious. I watched him until he disappeared. Who was he? Was he the sign I was waiting for? I don't know. Sparrows were flitting about. A chipmunk ran across the road, and I am still waiting, as if for a sign from God. Jonquils blossoming in the side yard. I was beginning to feel like a prisoner. I couldn't leave, not with so much at stake. There was a light knocking on the front door. I went to answer it. There was a beautiful woman standing there. Yes, I said. I have a message for you. Can I come in? She said. Of course, I said. I took her into the living room. Have a seat, I said. Do you know why I'm here? She said. I have no idea. I mean, I might, but I'm still not sure, I said. Well, it's your time. Do you know what that means? She said. Not exactly, I said. You're number one, she said. What does that mean? I said. It means you can do anything you want right now, she said. Oh, what a relief. I thought it meant I was going to die, I said. So what do you want to do? Let me think about it, I said. We sat there in silence for a while. Then I said, I guess I'm just happy sitting here. That's it. You don't want anything. Great. Okay, I'll see you around, she said, getting up and heading for the door. Well, maybe a kiss would be nice, I said. Too late, she said, slamming the door. Again, this was The Government Lake by James Tate. Thanks for being here. Have a good one.